I see that.
Exactly.
But then so it's like a chronological escalation, pretty much, right? You go from an incident, an event, which is a potential, to now we do know, which is an incident, right? So I'm
Exactly.
guessing that means there are different approaches to how you handle this in terms of like your run books, how you handle an event and an incident, right? Okay.
100%. 100%. Because an incident is something much broader. When you declare event to be an incident, at this point, the run book is bigger. You
It's
have
a
to
whole lot different, right? You have to wake
know,
people up, you have to make calls, you have to shut
yeah.
systems down, stuff like. Okay, that's interesting. What is the typical life cycle of an incident look like? What, so you go from an event to an incident, but I'm just curious. Um, there's an alert that's triggered. Somebody investigates, like you said, with the tier ones or whatever. It escalates into an incident. What does it typically look like? I mean, for somebody not in this space, do we start shutting machines down, or do we? And then I guess how do we manage that? I'm curious.
For me, let me say a joke. For us as security, whenever we suspect something, we could just shut it down every day. So figure it out.
But that's not the ultimate, right?
No, that's not the goal, because our ultimate goal is to support the business. So
Yeah.
we have to make sure, as we walk or run to solve an incident, we make sure that the business is run, because business is our most important priority. So
the
then,
the business is your customer. I love that.
exactly.
Does the I'll go back to another question I have, but I'll say, does the business understand your worth? Like in most times,
I hope they
because
do.
the reason I ask is because security always gets a lot of pushback. We have to make the case. We're seen as the stoppers, like all of those. So I'm curious, how does typically does the business embrace the SOC? Unlike other folks, like say AppSec engineers or whatever, we typically just tell them, you go do this, you go run a SaaS scan or whatever, right? So I'm just curious what it is like in your space.
So I hope they do understand our value, because we've been shut down all this fire for them and make sure they sleep. So I hope they
Absolutely.
do. But let me put this way: as a security, we don't produce money to the company,
We save them
and
money.
we save them money. So
Yes.
one of my main job is making sure that the business understand that we're here to save the company money, to make sure that we move forward in a secure way. And with that being said, after a couple fights, I would say that we are in a good space now, where business understand our value, business understand what we do. And whenever we contact the business because there is a problem and we need them to fix something, and we need them to reset password, or we need to shut down one machine and downgrade the power of a specific operation, they are a little bit more receptive. But still, is an ongoing fight. We have to cultivate this culture to make sure that the business understand that a security incident can really, really be, if we have a security incident, can really, really be damage for a company, not just in terms of money, but in terms of reputation and the action on stock and like
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So there's while you were kind of explaining what the SOC does, and by the way, I do want to highlight that what a SOC typically looks like is what is behind you in your background, right? Like, is that the typical setup?
that is the typical,
I
like the
love that you're
typical
representing
wardrobe.
that. So thank you for that.